Hey guys, Jason here, architect working in Toronto, or architect on the move. And yeah, it's Friday. Whoa, there's no Ferrari. Sorry, I digress. There's a beautiful old red Ferrari. Yeah, today was a busy one. This afternoon it was a site visit to see construction. Basically, this house that we've designed the renovation for has this whole it's been fully gutted. So exciting because it's like you get to see the guts of this building. So that's great. And then before that, went to a okay. So there's this thing called mandatory site meetings. So the government, Toronto, this is one of the Toronto government bodies, and they put out a bid. They need an architect to design something for their basement space of this housing complex that they have, this apartment complex. And so for public projects, they put out a bid. It's public, people like architects can bid on, and the idea of it is like competition, is fair competition. In theory, any architect in Ontario can bid on these things, but as part of the deal is you have to show up to a mandatory site meeting. Pretty common, like not every bid is like this, but this particular job is like this, where it's like, if you want to bid on it, you have to attend this site meeting. And so they set this thing for 10 a.m. this morning. And we show up, Cameron from my office and myself. We go to do the site visit. And we plan it so that we arrive. We arrived at like 9:45, something like that. And there's a buffer amount of time. There's a 10-minute buffer where you can arrive at 10:10, and that's within reason. But in the interest of fairness, if you're late, too bad. Like, everyone else showed up on time. If you're late, forget about it almost. And that's what we get there, and then people start rolling in, and at around 10:10, there's like 16 applicants. There's 16 people at that point. And so there's a guy that comes, he arrived at 10:11. He was 1 minute late. And he gets there. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm late." And the person running the meeting, he's like, "Oh, is there anyone from your office that's already here?" And the guy goes, "No." He's like, "Sorry, you cannot bid. Like, you should go. You should leave." I felt so bad for him because it's a tough lesson. But if you're late in the interest of fairness, if you're late, too bad. That's the rules. But this kid is probably just like a junior at a firm. So I felt so bad for him, but I was like, whatever. Like, not my problem. One less bidder on the list. But yeah, there's a lot of people to basically, we have to, if we want to win it, we're gonna have to beat all these other companies in our proposal. But yeah, we walk through the spaces, we ask questions. None of the questions, you can ask them as many questions as you want, but unless it's in writing, you can't really take their answers. You have to take their answers with a grain of salt. So, and they make it very clear. They're like, "I can say whatever I want here." He's like, "But if your questions must be in writing for it to be official, and responses are sent back to all parties. Again, in the interest of fairness." And so there's a whole system for this stuff. The one weird thing is, I remember there in our handbook of practice, there's almost, it's not a rule, but it's kind of an unwritten rule that these kind of meetings, these kind of like deadlines and stuff, shouldn't happen on Mondays or Fridays. And the theory behind that, and today's a Friday, and the theory behind that is, a lot of Mondays and Fridays, there's a lot of missing staff, all this kind of stuff. So it was kind of weird to see a mandatory site visit on a Friday, but whatever. All's good, whatever. Yeah, and we walk through the spaces. One thing my firm does, and I'm quite proud of, is we invested in a 360 camera, a Ricoh Theta X. It's one of their top of the line. It's a generation old now, but it's one of their top of the line 360 cameras, and we invested in one because we're finding as many photos as you take, you always miss something. And to help minimize these 360 images, these panoramic 360 images are so valuable. So when we do these site walkthroughs, I'm carrying this funny looking gadget, taking 360 shots, so I don't miss anything. It's been great because now I can review all this stuff. It's like, right, there's 6 outlets here. Oh, there's no sprinklers in this room. Oh, they need a smoke detector in this room. This doesn't have an exhaust fan. There's like all the stuff you can't get from individual photos or a set of drawings. And so that's actually been a huge thing for my cleanup in terms of our firm processes. And we've been using it, so to segue into the next point is like on the site the site visit afterwards this afternoon, we're doing full out 360 scans. And with the power of one system, one software system, it's called Matterport. And it's been heavily, a lot of R&D went into it for real estate, for the showing of spaces. For the showing of spaces, they've really developed the UI, the cloud-based system where you can take a series, you have to go use their app, and you take a series of images, upload it, and it will generate a 3D model, basically a dollhouse, a digital twin. And it costs money, of course, but because of the real estate demand, it's made this tool very, very powerful. And for the money that I pay for using it, it's so handy in construction. Is like I've got a digital record of the site, this gutted out building offhand. So we're using it more and more. I'm almost using this thing not daily, but certainly weekly. I'm taking out this 360 camera, and it's been one of the best investments I've made. So if you're thinking of starting your firm, go out and get yourself one. They're much less expensive. They're like $300 kind of thing, which is still a lot of money, but well worth it for the kind of data that you can gather from that. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a long week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.